This is part 68 of JavaScript tutorial. In this video, we'll discuss some of the optional cookie attribute values that can be used when creating a cookie. This is continuation to part 67, so please watch part 67 before proceeding. Here we have the list of optional cookie attributes. Let's discuss these one by one. The code that we have here is going to create a cookie. This cookie expires as soon as the browser is closed. Let's look at this in action. Let's flip to Visual Studio. Let's create two buttons. Input type equals button, value equals set cookie, and let's create another button and change the text here to get cookie. Now let's write a JavaScript function to set a cookie, and to write a cookie to the client computer we use the cookie property of the document object. And let's store the string in the cookie, color equals red. Now let's write another function, get cookie, and to read the cookie we use cookie property of the document object, and if the length of the cookie is not equal to 0, then we know that the cookie is still present, and if the cookie is still present we want to read that cookie. So document.length is document.cookie is going to give us that cookie, and we want to split that cookie based on this equal to symbol. So when we split that, we are going to get two strings back, the color and the word red. So let's split that based on equal to symbol. So that's the separator, and we are going to get a string array back. Let's store that in this variable name value array, and then let's alert the name and value. So alert name equals name value array of 0 and value equals name value array of 1. So this should display the name and value. Now if the cookie length is equal to 0, then we know that the cookie is either deleted or it has expired. So in that case we want to say alert cookie not found. Alright, so when we click set cookie button, we want to call set cookie function, and when we click get cookie button, we want to call this function get cookie. Alright, so with these changes, let's run the page. Now at the moment we don't have any cookies, so when we click get cookie button, it should say cookie not found. Now let's click this button to set the cookie, and once we click this button now, get cookie, notice that we get the name and its value. Name is color, value is red. But this is not a persistent cookie, so as soon as I close the browser, the cookie will be deleted. So now if we navigate to the same page, that is HTML page 1.html, look at this. When we click get cookie, cookie is not found. So as soon as we close the browser, the cookie is deleted. So if you want to create a persistent cookie, that is a cookie that is not deleted after the browser is closed, then we have to use one of these two attributes, expires or max age. Now when we use expires attribute, we specify the expiry date and time explicitly. So here we are saying we want this cookie to expire on 5th of August 2016 at 1 AM. So until then the cookie will be present. Okay, and when we use max age attribute, we specify the expiry time in seconds. So 60 multiplied by 60 gives us the number of seconds in 1 hour, and that multiplied by 24 gives us the total number of seconds in 24 hours, and that multiplied by 30 gives us the total number of seconds in 30 days. So basically here we are saying that we want this cookie to expire in 30 days from now. Okay, so you can either use expires or max age. Now let's use this max age attribute, and let's paste that here. So basically we are saying color equals red and max age equals whatever this multiplication is going to produce. So that is going to be equal to the number of seconds in 30 days. So we are basically saying this cookie is going to expire, from 30 days from now. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this now. So when we click get cookie, it should say cookie not found. Now let's go ahead and click set cookie, and let's copy this URL. So now the cookie should have been set. Once we click get cookie, notice that we get the name and color, name and value. Now let's close the browser window, open another instance of Google Chrome, navigate to the URL, click get cookie. Notice that we still have the cookie, name equals color, value equals red. Okay, now you can delete the cookie. So in Google Chrome, if you go to history, and basically you can clear browsing data, and here you specify that you also want to delete cookies. So when we click clear browsing data, it's going to delete the cookies as well. Let's copy this URL, let's close the browser. Let's open another instance. Now it would have deleted our cookie as well. So now the cookie will be gone when I click get cookie. Okay, but then keep in mind you can either use expires or max age attributes. Now the obvious next question is, why do we have two things? That's because there are some differences between them. With expires attribute, you set an expiry date. The expires attribute is obsolete. Very few modern browsers support this attribute, and Internet Explorer is one of them. With max age attribute, we specify the expiry time in seconds. Most modern browsers support this attribute except Internet Explorer. So max age attribute will not work with the IE. And keep in mind, if you want to create a persistent cookie that works both in IE and all the other browsers, then specify both expires and max age attributes. Now we know that Internet Explorer does not support max age attribute. So when we set both of them, Internet Explorer is going to use expires attribute, and it will simply ignore max age attribute. And the other browsers which support expires, they are going to use that expires, the browsers that support max age attribute, they're going to use max age attribute and ignore the expires attribute. So if you want a cross browser solution, then use both the attributes, expires and max age. Now let's look at the other attribute, which is domain. So basically this attribute specifies the domain for which the cookie is valid. Now if you specify the domain, for example, as prajimtech.blog.com, so just like how we have specified, expires equals an expiry date, we put a semicolon, and then if we specify domain equals prajimtech.blog.com, then that cookie will be valid only for this subdomain, that is prajimtech.blog.com. It will not be valid for prajimtech.com. Now if you want to create a cookie that will be valid for all subdomains of prajimtech.com, then specify the domain as prajimtech.com. So if you set domain to prajimtech.com, then that cookie will be valid for all these subdomains including prajimtech.com. So prajimtech.com, prajimtech.blog.com, prajimtech.blog.kudvenkat.com. So for all of these subdomains of prajimtech.com, the cookie will be valid in case if you specify the main domain. But if you specify an explicit subdomain, then that cookie will be valid only for that subdomain. Now let's discuss path attribute. By default, cookies are only valid for the web pages in the directory of the current web page that stored them, as well as its descendants. Let's understand what we mean by this statement with an example. So here notice that we have the directory structure of a web application. So within the root directory, that is in this demo folder, we have home folder and page3.html. Okay, and within the home folder we have a subfolder and page2.html, and within subfolder we have page1.html. Now let's go ahead and create a structure like this. So at the moment we have page1.html. So let's add a new folder and let's name this home, and inside that folder let's add another folder. Let's name this subfolder, and then within the home folder, within subfolder, let's add a new item, and we want to add an HTML page, and within subfolder let's name it page1.html. So we want to add HTML page, and let's name this page1.html, and within the home folder let's add another page, and let's name this page2.html, and let's change the name of this page to page3.html. Okay, now let's go ahead and copy the same code in all the three pages. Alright, let's save everything and let's navigate to page 2. Okay, page2.html. Let's view in the browser. So look at this. Page2.html is present in the home folder, and home folder is present in the root directory on demo folder. Okay, so when you look at this diagram, this page 2, is setting the cookie. Okay, now let's click get cookie. At the moment we don't have any cookies, so let's go ahead and set the cookie, and it should have created a persistent cookie. So now when I click get cookie, notice that it works, and so the cookie is created by /home/page2.html. Okay, so whatever is present in home folder, that's the page. Now subfolder is present under home folder, and this page1.html is present in that subfolder. So let's navigate to page1.html. Let's view that page in browser, and then let's click get cookie. Notice that even this page is able to read that cookie. Now let's navigate to page 3. That's present above the subfolder, that's present in the root directory, that is demo folder. So this page3.html is present at the same level as the home folder. Okay, so home folder and page3.html, they are present in this root directory demo. Now let's navigate to page3.html and click get cookie. Look at that, it says cookie not found. So what does this mean? This means that by default cookies are valid only for the web pages in the directory of the current web page that stored them, as well as its descendants. So if page 2 is creating a cookie, then that will be valid for that page, all the pages in that directory, as well as to any pages underneath that directory. So page 2 is present in home, and underneath home we have subfolder. So all the pages within home folder and any of the subfolders underneath home folder, those pages will be able to access the cookie. But anything outside that will not be able to access. Page 3 is not able to access the cookie created by page 2. So that's the default behavior. Now if you want to create a cookie that is valid across all your pages in your entire website, then set the path attribute to the root of your web directory. And how to do that? Simply use path equals /, and when you do that, all the pages in your entire application will be able to read that cookie. So let's quickly look at that in action. So first of all, let's go ahead and delete the cookie. So let's go to history, clear the browsing data, which is also going to delete the cookies, and let's close that. Let's go here and then specify path equals /. So now let's do the same thing. Let's navigate to page2.html, view in browser, and when we click get cookie, there will be no cookies. Now let's go ahead and set the cookie, get cookie. Look at that, we get the cookie. Now let's go to page3.html, view in browser, get cookie. Notice that we get the cookie. Now let's go to page1.html, get cookie, we get the cookie. Now that cookie is available for all the pages because we have set path equal to /. And the next attribute is the secure attribute. Basically, this attribute specifies that the cookie is secure and is only used over HTTPS protocol, which ensures that the cookie is always encrypted when transmitting from client to server. That's it for today. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.